With 3 games remaining in the NFL regular season, the Dallas Cowboys find themselves in an uncomfortable and unfamiliar position. Their playoff hopes are not mathematically impossible, but realistically, they are close to gone. Around the league, teams in similar situations have begun shifting their focus toward the future. Resting starters, protecting quarterbacks, and evaluating younger talent has become the norm. In Dallas, however, that conversation has not gained traction, especially at the most important position on the field. Quarterback Dak Prescott has made his stance unmistakably clear. He does not want to sit. He does not want to coast. And he does not want to treat the final 3 games as meaningless. Prescott has stated absolutely that he intends to start, regardless of how bleak the playoff picture may appear. For him, the opportunity to play is not conditional on postseason probability. It is foundational to who he is as a professional. Prescott's position stands in contrast to decisions made by several other franchises this season. Teams out of contention have chosen caution, opting to preserve their quarterbacks for the following year. Dallas, however, has taken a different approach, guided largely by Prescott's mindset. His message to the locker room is simple. If there is a game to be played, it deserves full commitment. For Prescott, the reasoning is deeply personal. He has experienced seasons interrupted by injury, times when watching from the sideline was the only option. Those moments, he says, have reshaped his perspective. Playing in the NFL is not something he is willing to take for granted, no matter the circumstances surrounding a particular season. As the Cowboys prepare for the final stretch, Prescott's decision sets the tone. Dallas may not control its playoff destiny, but its quarterback believes the team still controls something just as important: how the season ends. This is my job, this is what I love. Dak Prescott's explanation for wanting to play is rooted in gratitude and professionalism. This is my job, this is what I love to do, he said, speaking candidly about his mindset. For Prescott, every snap represents an opportunity that cannot be assumed. His comments reflect a veteran who understands how quickly circumstances can change in the NFL. Prescott referenced past seasons when he was forced to sit, including last year, and how those moments left a lasting impression. Being unavailable sharpened his appreciation for the game. Each chance to take the field, he says, is something to be honored, not postponed for convenience. That philosophy extends to games that lack playoff implications. He emphasized that players do not enter the season with selective motivation. The goal at the start of every year is the same: win games, reach the playoffs, and compete for a Super Bowl. When those goals become unreachable, it does not erase the purpose behind showing up on Sundays. For Prescott, effort is not situational. If that's not the case when we take the field, Prescott explained, I'm thankful for the opportunity to play this game, and I'm not going to ever pass it up. The words underline a mindset built on responsibility rather than circumstance. He views participation as a privilege, regardless of standings. That approach resonates within a locker room filled with players who understand the volatility of NFL careers. Contracts change, rosters turn over, and opportunities vanish quickly. Prescott's commitment reinforces a culture that values the present, even when the future appears uncertain. A season that fell short of expectations. While Prescott remains committed to finishing strong, he has not minimized the disappointment surrounding the 2025 season. The Cowboys entered the year with significant expectations, fueled by roster moves and internal belief. Falling short of those goals has been difficult to process, both individually and collectively. This one stings for sure, Prescott admitted. He described the feeling as foreign, something he had not experienced since his second year in the league. That unfamiliar frustration has lingered, serving as a reminder of how quickly momentum can shift in the NFL. The season's emotional toll has been compounded by the circumstances Dallas endured along the way. The Cowboys faced major transitions, including blockbuster trades that altered the team's identity mid-season. They also dealt with the emotional impact of losing a teammate, Marshawn Kneeland, a moment that left a deep mark on the locker room. Those events, Prescott said, made the disappointment harder to accept. Despite the frustration, Prescott believes the pain carries value. He views it as motivation, something that can fuel growth rather than stagnation. The sense of falling short has created an urgency that he expects will follow the team into the offseason. For Prescott and many of his teammates, The inability to focus on playoff preparation is not something they plan to forget quickly. Instead, it is a feeling they intend to carry forward, using it as a reference point to ensure the same outcome does not repeat itself. Playing for what comes next, Prescott believes the final 3 games still hold meaning beyond the win-loss column. He sees them as an opportunity to build momentum, not just for the present, but for the future. In his view, how a team finishes a season often shapes how it begins the next one. It's all momentum, Prescott said. The quarterback understands that while roster changes are inevitable, a significant portion of the team will return next year. Establishing positive habits now, he believes, can carry over and create continuity in a league defined by constant change. He acknowledged that adjustments will be necessary in the offseason. Certain issues must be addressed, and decisions will be made at multiple levels of the organization. Still, Prescott emphasized that finishing strong provides a foundation. It leaves players with something tangible to build upon rather than uncertainty. Ending the season with effort and execution, even without playoff implications, helps maintain standards. Prescott sees these games as a chance to reinforce identity, particularly for younger players who will be counted on moving forward. For Dallas, the remaining schedule is not about rewriting the season. It is about shaping the narrative that follows it. Prescott's leadership reflects a belief that culture is built in moments when motivation is hardest to find. One of Prescott's recurring messages has been focus. With the postseason slipping away, distractions are easy to find. He has urged the team to avoid looking too far ahead and instead concentrate on the task directly in front of them. We've got to control what we can control, Prescott said. That begins with effort and execution. For him, professionalism demands consistency, regardless of external circumstances. Each game is an obligation, not an exhibition. Prescott emphasized that every player in the locker room understands the privilege of playing in the NFL. Opportunities at this level are rare and fleeting. He reminded his teammates that the group they share the field with now will not look the same next season. That awareness adds weight to each remaining game. Prescott believes enjoyment still matters, even amid disappointment. Competing alongside familiar teammates, wearing the uniform, and preparing together are experiences worth valuing. For Dallas, that mindset serves as both motivation and grounding force. It reinforces the idea that effort is not tied to standings, but to identity. A formidable test ahead. The Cowboys' next challenge comes against the Los Angeles Chargers, one of the league's strongest teams this season. Dallas has already faced multiple opponents with 10 or more wins, and this matchup presents another significant test. Under head coach Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers have built a reputation for defensive toughness. They currently allow the second fewest total yards per game in the NFL, a statistic that immediately stands out on film. Prescott described what he sees when studying the Chargers' defense. It begins with the pass rush, a unit capable of disrupting timing and forcing mistakes. The pressure up front creates opportunities for the secondary to capitalize. Veteran edge rusher Khalil Mack anchors that group, bringing experience and consistency. Prescott noted that the defense operates as a complete unit, with each level complementing the others. For Dallas, the matchup represents an opportunity to measure itself against one of the league's best, even with postseason stakes diminished. Strength versus strength. The matchup becomes even more intriguing when considering Dallas' offensive production. The Cowboys currently lead the NFL in total yards per game, establishing themselves as one of the league's most productive offenses. That sets up a classic clash, a high-powered offense against an elite defense. Prescott understands the significance of that challenge. Executing against pressure will be critical, particularly in maintaining rhythm and avoiding mistakes. The Cowboys' ability to protect the quarterback and stay disciplined will determine how effectively they can move the ball. Prescott emphasized that defensive success often starts with forcing errant throws through pressure. For Dallas, the game is a chance to validate its offensive identity against top-tier competition. It also serves as a measuring stick, offering insight into what translates against elite units. Regardless of the standings, the matchup carries meaning. It provides context, evaluation, and an opportunity to compete at a high level. Leadership in uncertain moments. Prescott's decision to play speaks to his leadership style. He does not separate effort from outcome. Whether the team is chasing a playoff berth or playing out the schedule, his expectations remain unchanged. That consistency has defined his career in Dallas. Teammates look to him not just for performance, but for example. Showing up when circumstances are unfavorable sends a message that resonates throughout the roster. Prescott understands that leadership is often tested in disappointment rather than success. How a team responds when goals fall short can define its character more than a winning streak. By choosing to play, Prescott reinforces accountability. He demonstrates that responsibility does not disappear when circumstances turn unfavorable. That message, he believes, will last longer than the final score of any remaining game. The frustration of this season is something Prescott does not intend to forget. He has been clear that the disappointment will carry into the offseason, serving as motivation rather than baggage. He believes that remembering this feeling can shape preparation, decision-making, and urgency in the months ahead. The goal is not to dwell, but to learn. For many players, the offseason will bring change. Roster turnover is inevitable. Still, Prescott expects the core mindset to remain intact. Finishing strong, even without postseason rewards, is part of preserving that mindset. The standard remains. As the season winds down, Prescott's message remains consistent. Play hard. Compete fully. Respect the opportunity. The Cowboys may not be in control of their playoff fate, but they remain in control of their standards. Prescott's commitment to starting the final 3 games reflects a broader philosophy. Football is not something he treats selectively. Each game matters because the opportunity itself matters. For Dallas, the final stretch is about identity as much as results. Prescott believes that how the team responds now will echo into next season. Win or lose, the Cowboys will take the field with their quarterback leading the way. For Prescott, that is not a choice. It is simply the job. And as long as he has the opportunity to do it, he has no intention of stepping aside.